And by the 1830s and 1840s, there's a new movement that arises called the rural cemetery movement. And what happened was communities started to set aside big patches of land outside of the city center in a rural area, and they would make them into like parks with winding roads for the carriages to go through and lots of trees and shrubs. And they would leave the hills instead of leveling it like a farm, they would leave the hills naturally. They would take advantage of ponds and rivers going through and all of that to make it a very natural area. And it encouraged visitation. So those rural cemeteries gave rise to a lot of movement. People were emptying out graves on their own property and in the city burial grounds and moving them into the rural ones. And wealthy families would buy big lots there in the rural cemeteries and decorate them with big monuments. And they sort of tried to outdo each other. So somebody puts up a big obelisk and somebody else says, I'm going to put a statue on my lot, and all of that. But what it led to was this beautiful, we're left today with these beautiful landscapes like the Evergreen in Rutland, which are hilly, full of trees, beautifully decorated with monuments of all shapes and sizes. And that's really the intent of the movement. It kind of changed. Today we refer to these more as garden cemeteries instead of rural, because what happened was they were put in a rural area originally, but as the cities continue to grow around them, it's not rural. Like Evergreen in Rutland is not a rural area anymore. That's a city. So it's called a garden cemetery.